New York Times interviewed more than 24 teachers, pediatricians, and early childhood experts. They depicted a generation less likely to have age-appropriate skills, the Times writes, to be able to hold a pencil, communicate their needs, identify shapes and letters, manage their emotions, or solve problems with peers, unquote. Joining me now, psychotherapist Dr. Robi Ludwig. Dr. Robi, we're talking about young kids who weren't even mostly in school during the pandemic, and now we're seeing, what is this impact?
So when these pandemic babies, came into the world, the whole world was shut down. And there was a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress. Their world was not the same. And they couldn't see people talk, so their linguistic skills were impacted. They didn't have play dates. And so now in school, we're seeing some of the challenges that they're having in terms of their social and emotional growth. So we see that there's less exposure to people, lower preschool attendance, more time on screens, and less time playing, and this all added up to what we're seeing now.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense when you think about it. I mean, I think about my older kids who were in high school and the impact it had on them. Of course it was going to affect the early years. These early years, though, are critical for brain development, right? So what can teachers and parents do to try to help them catch up?
So the good news is that we can catch up. And it's by talking to our kids, creating play dates, so making up for lost time, reading stories to your kids, making sure that they're physical, reduce screen time, because that was a big challenge in terms of attention and fine motor skills. It's really about helping them regulate their emotions as well, which parents are really good at doing. So, it's really nice to know that these interventions can take place and parents are in a great position to operate and institute them.
Yeah, we have control to some extent. And you mentioned screen time. I want to ask, because research is finding that even after the lockdowns ended, screen time was still at a higher level than it used to be pre-COVID. Can that be reversed? Can parents take back the iPad? Like, how do we?
Absolutely, absolutely. Kids want to be around their parents. So if you take the screen away and say, we're going to put this away, we're going to play a game. We are going to tell stories. We're going to look at a movie together. All of those ideas are really appealing to kids. And so parents just need to get on board. It's easy to say, look at the screen, just like it was easy to say, look at the television. But when we know it has a negative impact, or potentially, then, we may want to try other things.
All right. Dr. Robi Ludwig, always good to have you.
Thank you.
So
always
much.
good to be here.
Happy Friday.